My 9-year-old Joseph has, we call him our alphabet soup baby because he has ASD, autistic spectrum disorder. He's on the high end of the autistic spectrum, OCD, SPD, ADHD, as well as Tourette syndrome. When he was diagnosed at 18 months, he went from the snuggliest, easy, well-behaved little toddler, and literally overnight, one morning he woke up and he was squealing, this weird sound and spinning. And I couldn't get him to make eye contact with me, and I couldn't get him to sit still, and he wouldn't eat, and I didn't know what was going on. With the pediatrician, we'd already been doing cannabis in our family for 1.5 years with Ollie. So I kind of went to him and like, we need to do something. I have scars from him biting me. He has scars from him biting himself. I need to do something. He's head over the tea kettle at school. He's not learning. He's not writing. He's not reading. He's in 2nd grade. He's not doing anything at school other than getting in trouble. We have to do something. And he's like, I agree. I said, I want to put him on cannabis. He said, 100% in agreement. Then we had to figure out, okay, so which way are we going to learn? Are we going to lean more THC? Are we going to lean more CBD? What did we want to do? We tried CBD at first, plain CBD, nothing other than CBD. We might as well have been just giving the kid Crisco. It didn't do much of anything other than make him gag. He does not like the taste. So we slowly added in a little bit of THC at a time, so his body had a chance to build a tolerance, so we knew what was going, and we did this over the summer. So it didn't happen in the school system at all. When we gave him the cannabis, I honestly wasn't really expecting the dramatic change the way we saw with Oliver. But when he just kind of chilled out and he sat on the couch. And he didn't sit very long. I think he said like 10 minutes. But for a kid who hadn't sat for 5 minutes, ever, even at night when he go to sleep, he flips and flops and moves and didn't sleep well because he just kept moving. I just sat there and I just kind of held my kid, you know. David came around the corner here. We were on our old couch and I said something like, I think he fell asleep. And he whips his phone out and took a picture and he goes, he's not asleep. And it's just, I'm sitting there and Joey's wide awake and I'm holding him. And it's not a hold him like I have to hold him. It's a hold him, I was just snuggling my kid. And that's awesome. Our pediatrician helped us get the right concentration. And he started like not being a normal kid, although I don't think any kid is really normal, but being calmer. He still spins, but he doesn't spin all day, every day. He still waffles back and forth on sit down, stand up, sit down, stand up, sit down, stand up, but he's not running in circles. That kind of thing. He started the 3rd grade, and the teacher he had in 2nd grade was visiting the teacher in the 3rd grade. I didn't realize Joey was in her class, and then was blown away at the difference between Joey of 2nd grade and Joey of 3rd grade. By Christmas of the 3rd grade, he was reading at a 5th grade level and retaining it and able to retell the story. And using a computer, was able to take tests about the story after reading the story and getting 80% and higher on these tests. My kid finished the 3rd grade on grade level. He was kindergarten level when he started the 3rd grade.
I'm still pretty active and wild with it, but not as much as I am without it. Without it, I'm crazy, like running around the room, like screaming like Bubba said, screaming something that I made up.
And you can't stop.
Yeah, and I can't stop. I usually like can't stop moving, but as you can see right now, I'm kind of standing still.
Sitting.
Oh, sitting still. Yeah. So it's made a big, drastic change with me.
What about at school?
At school, before I went to Annie R. Mitchell Elementary School, my mom homeschooled me because she thought I literally wouldn't survive in a real school. Well, when I went to Annie R. Mitchell, I started in the 1st grade. I wouldn't talk to anybody. I wouldn't really do anything. I didn't want to go to recess. I just wanted to stay doing nothing in the cafeteria. And I was that weird kid that nobody wanted to have friends with, nobody wanted to talk to and stuff. Since I'm not really that good at handwriting, like the feel of the pencil, I can like hear it, and it's just, I hate the scratching. So we type on a computer. So, and that made a big change. I still didn't really read that much. 4th grade rolls around, which is the grade I'm in right now, and I have found out what I'm very good at doing. Because of the cannabis, I've been very, very well at reading. I started 3rd grade with a kindergarten reading level, and now I'm in 4th grade with a 7th grade reading level. So yeah, cannabis has made a big, drastic change for me. I mean, I know a lot of people don't like the plant because they think it's pretty bad, but if they make it into medicine, it can help if you use it the right way. So yeah, it's made a big change.
Joe.
Yeah, I hope it works in 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, and all the other ones.
He comes to me almost the end of 3rd grade. And he'd been on it for, since June and that year. So it was probably almost a year on the cannabis. And he says, Mom, I love my medicine. And at that point I'm like, okay, because you say you hate it and it's disgusting and you want nothing to do with it. He says, yeah, I love it because it makes my brain shut up so I can learn. And I cried. And I still get emotional thinking about that day. And I mean, there'll be times when he will fidget and chew on his fingers and all that other stuff. And then he'll just spout things that he's learned in school that he would never have done before. He never could tell me what he did in school before. Now he's done fractions and division and multiplication and
we've already passed division.
See? And tell us what he's done and how he's done it. And that is what cannabis did for my baby. That is why I will fight for that kid to always be on it. His dream is to go to the military academy in our school, in our town. His big brother is graduating from the military academy this year. He wants to go so bad. They randomly drug test. They will just pull students in, pee in a cup. Because of the amount of THC in his medication, he will pee dirty. And I will fight tooth and nail, blood, and you will see a mama bear. Because that's his medication. It doesn't make him high. That's his meds. And that's what makes him function.
I'll give you more data. Because I do pediatrics, there have been families who've contacted me. They've done the research, I've done the research as well, and we both will meet and we'll enroll patients in this. Now, the data and the research and stuff suggests that with autism, there's severe behavioral issues. Those behavioral issues prevent dynamic social interaction. That prevention from dynamic social interaction is fueled in some way by anxiety. Now, the studies from Israel suggest that you treat that, and by treating that, you decrease that level of anxiety, and now you have somebody who's operational. They go from inoperational to operational. That ability now to interact and interface with society grows. Now, I've seen only a couple people through that pathway right now, and folks are saying that it's helping. Now, in a year or two's time, I'll have more data to share, but at this point in time, preliminarily, if it helps, then we have another way to treat and hopefully take someone who is outside, mentally, cognitively capable, but just outside of the realm of normal, and bring them into society. That's an incredible opportunity. So yes, I've participated in that. I'm watching, I'm studying, I'm learning from it. I think the data, just like with all the data in cannabis right now, is raw. It's not firm enough for me to say 100% of the time doing this, this, and this, we're going to get an outcome. We still have to learn which strain will be optimal. We have to learn the amount of THC that would be optimal, because THC seems to work better with this population.
For a long time, I didn't see children because I'm not a pediatrician. I've seen children many times in my practice that didn't involve cannabis. And finally, I had so many parents call up and want to have a recommendation. And I know that it's useful for things on the conditions on the autism spectrum disorder, that I finally felt I really can't stand in their way. And if the Medical Board of California wants to challenge me on this, I think I know enough to be able to explain to them why this is useful. I had a fellow whose grandfather is a medical contemporary of mine who had severe autism, and his father came in and said he's much calmer, much happier. He still had severe autism, but it was very helpful. I had a patient who had social anxiety, which is on the autism spectrum disorder, who came all the way from the Midwest from Minnesota, where cannabis was not legal, and I prescribed dronabinol, and it must have been beneficial because he and his mother came back the next year to get another prescription for Marinol.